Year. What up? This is Jay Haynes, Top Slug. Here with a video for you. Sheesh, another one, another raw and uncut, low budget struggle video. But we're gonna get through it. We're gonna get it done, and hopefully, slowly but surely, they're getting better. I'm getting more comfortable, a better on-camera presence. Uh, and hopefully we can start to pick up some people that actually watch, and we'll go from there. But like I said, it's all just getting things off the ground, just getting started, just trying to get comfortable. So if you found this video and you respect the game, you respect the up and coming YouTuber, just trying to make it, like, subscribe, fuck with me. But if not, this should just be here for later. But yeah, man. What's been going on, man? Like, what's been going on in the world? What's been going on in kind of the purview of the things I've been kind of looking into and just a part of? I guess the thing I want to talk about today, without getting into anything that's too clout chasey or like too topical, just because I ain't really trying to get popping off of other people's expense in that way. But I gotta speak on this situation just because I've been kind of seeing a lot of it over the past couple of days. And yeah, it's crazy, man. It's crazy. There's a lot of different angles. So like I said in the previous video, there is a YouTube beef, drama, scandal, whatever you would like to call it. The gentleman from the Fresh and Fit podcast that's pretty popular. I'm a subscriber, or I was a subscriber. I'm still subscribed. I don't like just leave, but I don't want to see the drama anyway. But yeah, I'm a subscriber there. I don't really focus on it. Like, that's not a channel that I watch consistently. Like some of the other people in the manosphere or the red pill community, even just YouTubers that I like. But like I said before, I did fuck with like their movement, right? In the sense of they seem to be good businessmen and good at the YouTube game, and they seem to be pretty successful. So I definitely watched, and I would see other people that I was more familiar with and more popular people coming on the show, and obviously that gives them a certain level of credibility, and that's kind of how I got discovered onto them. Well, starts off that there was a drama between them and another podcast, Ab and Preach, two great YouTubers themselves. They're really big. They kind of crossover a little bit mainstream, but they had a drama stemming from just opinions on different topics. We don't really need to get into that part of it, but I guess the one thing that you have to be aware of in life as a man, as a woman, whoever, in YouTube or any type of media platform or framework, there's always going to be politics. There's always going to be, favoritism, behind the scenes things that go on. And I think one thing you do have to make sure is that you are on your game, right? So whatever that may be, you need to be on your best behavior within whatever that entails, right? So if you're dealing with other people, if you're networking, if you're collaborating, you need to make sure that you're doing that stuff in good faith and with integrity and just with honesty and openness. I mean, I think that's the one part of this whole scandal and drama with the Fresh and Fit guys, because Ab and Preach, they've kind of been pushed aside, or they're more in their natural state where they're just kind of reacting to what's going on at this point. But the Fresh and Fit guys have been put into the spotlight to where everything that will have ever been done wrong, every misgiving, every grievance, everything like that, it's going to come out, right? Like, I've seen this too many times. I've seen this in real life. I've seen this with celebrities, which I'm sure with celebrities, and these YouTubers have a certain amount of celebrity for sure. it's even worse, right? Because now it's not just people in your life coming at you, or it's not just a job, or it's not just, these different circumstances that you can kind of walk away from. When you're a celebrity, I mean, I'm sure it follows you, and then people from different avenues and different experiences now are saying, well, wait, if this person is going to be in trouble, well, what about what they did to me? And it's funny. I mean, it's like unfortunate, but that's how it goes, right? And if you're not aware of that, then I mean, you need to make sure you have the right people around you that can kind of guide you or mentor you. That's something that I heard a lot from some pretty smart people, that they don't clearly have the mentorship, or they weren't willing to accept certain things from certain people, to where now they're in a situation that seems like they're making all the wrong moves, right? And just recently was come out. Initially, there was the issue with the guys, the back and forth. After that, there was a young lady who came out and said, yo, he tried to use his platform to have sex with me and proposition me. I wasn't with it. He got mad. They released my name. People are, shitting on me and coming at me, DMs, which is crazy, right? Like, there was a young gentleman, I guess he's a fan of the Fresh and Fit podcast, and he was on a different podcast speaking to two gentlemen. And I guess he was one of the ones who sent a nasty DM to the young lady. I mean, what can you say, man? Like, I don't really know. Like, even if you're not like even if you're not a gentleman, right? I mean, you just don't do certain shit that just makes you look like a cornball, right? Because then you become a cornball. If if you're not gonna move with a certain respect, then just stay. You know what I mean? Stay low key, And I guess this guy, not only did he send the girl a nasty message, then he went somewhere to talk about it. And then he doubled down, like, yeah, I sent it to her because the podcast, it means so much to me. Like, it's given a whole, and I'm not going to say the manosphere, I'm not going to say the red pill community, because I think people are smart enough to separate that. And there's a lot of people who always separated that. Like, personally, I didn't really see the Fresh and Fit and kind of what they did in the same light as, let's say, a Kevin Samuels or a MTR or a O'Shea, right? Like, there's just a different tone and a different kind of connotation to it. So they were more like talk showy, and it's not necessarily red pill, but it has a tentacle, I would say, in that, right? And they're sucking kind of like energy from that, but it seems like they had their kind of own like lane in a way. But with that being said, they do help men and kind of consult men and give advice. And if this is the type of dudes that you kind of breeding, it's just a bad look all around, man. I've seen over the past 2-3 days, since this thing has been kind of kicking off, like just poor examples of like manhood, just from the basic standpoint of like thinking for yourself, right? Being able to think critically, being able to kind of separate yourself from an issue and give the best kind of solution and input and observation that you can. And it's like there's a lot of fanboy shit going on. There's a lot of dick riding going on. There's a lot of cock sucking going on. Like, it's nasty, right? And I don't want to shit on their fans, right? Because I would hope that most aren't like that. But the ones that are loud and vocal, they're not helping, right? They're not helping the situation. They're not making Fresh and Fit look any better. And not even that, they're making it clear that that's something different from the true kind of manosphere, the true red pill community. And yeah, I mean, it's been hard to watch in a way, right? But it's been funny. It's been funny for sure. And like, them niggas ain't me, so like I ain't really, I don't really have as much of that. They represent black men and that type of energy, just because I mean we all different, right? Like, I don't speak for you, you don't speak for me. We may have like similar ideas. We may think likewise. We may act and handle situations similarly, but nah, everybody's different. So yeah, it's been hard to watch that part of it, but I think that part is easily exposed, right? The fans, the men getting on there, simping, caping, white knighting, all those different things for other men. Yeah, that's not how we do it, right? So that happened, right? So that happened. The girl comes out. There's a back and forth, whatever. There's another young lady who kind of confirmed the story and said like, yeah, this is how they treated me. She told her story. So there's two women at this point coming out and kind of saying this and that, this and that. So in the previous video, I said like this is not going to be the end. I mean, the way these things work, if you know anything about anything, if you believe in opportunistic opportunism, then you know how people are probably looking at the situation. And if you have any type of dirt or smoke or skeletons pertaining to these two gentlemen, this would be the time to bring it out, right? This is going to get you the most attention. This might get you the most traction. If you're looking to sue or like come against something they have going on, they have the most incentive to like settle something. So it's not a surprise, right? But obviously within that, as things come out, people are going to get their true kind of idea and vision on kind of how to feel about things based on the things that are coming out, and obviously in a way the legitimacy behind some of the accusations or the grievances that people have. And the next thing that comes out pertaining to one of the guys, I'll say, which is the Myron guy, who's the main guy, is that he knocked up some IG chick that he had on the show. I mean, come on, like, you knocked up some IG chick that you have on the show. Number one, it's clear that you look at the women that you bring on the show as thoughts. So you don't really respect them, but you're having unprotected sex, not to mention intimate enough sex to knock a woman up. There's a lot that could be said about that. Like, there's a lot that could go into that just pertaining to all the things that somebody represents themselves as. I know when I was in the field like that, and I was getting kind of, I was having my way a little bit more than kind of the average guy, I would say, I would think, especially from like seeing numbers and research later on in life. It's not like I compared myself to anybody then, but like I had, a decent amount of kind of attention and experience, right? And so when I was in the field like that, I'd never had that issue with a chick that I wasn't kind of at least kind of dealing with on a serious level. It wouldn't even be like a possibility, right? So it makes me wonder like how a guy who kind of claims to be a gamesman or a womanizer or a player, quote unquote, how are you actually moving with these women, right? And if you're moving with these women in a funny way, how could you possibly be giving other men advice? So whatever. So that comes out. There's a whole live stream with the girl, telling her story, talking about how their interactions went. And I'm sure you guys, if you're interested, if you're seeing this video, you probably watched enough of that to kind of know what's going on there. And that's shameful. I mean, the girl, she bless her heart, right? But she seems very misguided up until this point. And at least from what I watched, it seemed like there may be some hope for her, but at the same time now, she has 2 kids, right? Because let's be honest, she's keeping a baby. We had this whole live stream with the lead attorney. I'll shout out him because that's the guy. But we had this whole live stream with the lead attorney, and he talked to the guy who actually originally interviewed her, and then she came on, and she talked and sat through the whole thing, and she tried her best. That ass is fat for sure, but she tried her best, and like even with that being said, it was like, well, I don't know if I'm gonna keep the baby. I still haven't decided. Nah, shorty, you decided. You know that's a meal ticket. You're not gonna give that up. And if you have anybody advising you, I would imagine they would tell you the same thing, right? Right now, you're on OnlyFans, trying to get people to pay to see you get penetrated, or penetrate yourself with toys and different things. Let's not pretend like having a potential pregnancy by a reputable gentleman, or a wealthy, or not wealthy, but a financially successful gentleman like the Myron guy, is not the kind of, I won't say the ultimate goal, but that is, like, if you're doing that, where else would you possibly want that to lead? So I don't know why it's kind of up for debate. I guess it's just part of the finesse, but she's keeping the baby, let's be honest. So with that being said, the dude has a baby potentially on the way. You got this chick who now has not so great things to say about you, but you have given her the highest honor in a way. You put your seed in her. And it's just a bad look, right? It's just a bad look. It's a bad look. And it doesn't, more than anything, it shows that you aren't what you say you are, right? You're a hypocrite. You're a fraud. You obviously are some level of misogynist. You kind of corny, right? Like, I'm gonna be honest, I don't want to shit on any dude if I don't need to, but in this case, like, that's corny shit, bro. Like, oh, you fuck my friends, blah blah blah. Like, that's nasty. Like, I don't see how anybody, right? If you like it, morals, better than whatever. Like, I don't see how anybody could look at that as respectable, right? And unfortunately, when things come out like that, I mean, it's, you don't give people a choice, right? So that happened. So it only gets worse for the dude. Now, what the most recent thing is, and I'm trying to keep this video under a certain time. I'm not going to edit it, so it is what it is. But if you see this, like, subscribe, fuck with me. If you're still watching, yeah, I'll let me. But so what happens now is two gentlemen that they used to work with, I believe, their not Instagram, but their YouTube name is Authentic Alphas. So I'll give them a shout out, just because I watched their video. And so they used to work with the Fresh and Fit guys. And this is where, like, as a man, and I would think, like, for people in the manosphere, especially like myself, right, who, I'm not somebody who comes here for guidance, not in the traditional sense. I'm not somebody who comes here to try to find people to kind of teach me how to interact with men and how to interact with women. I come here for like-minded thought, right, and like-minded expression, and because men don't necessarily have any other place, right, unless you're in a men's group or a church group or something, and even those, usually there's kind of a separation with certain kind of topics and thought processes. And the internet is the only place that men have, especially men with kind of the red pill thought, you could say. And once you start, like, dealing with people within a certain network or framework, or you start networking with people who are your peers and who are like you, it's very important that you keep your reputation at a certain place, right? So even if people do not like you personally, and they don't care for your personality, or they don't like the way you handle things, you need to be consistent, and you need to be professional where you have to be, and you need to keep things at a certain line. And you have to keep relationships in a place where, if nothing else, I don't need to, like, avoid you or hide from you, or we can have a difference of opinion. You may feel like you got the short end of a stick, but it is what it is, right? And I think that what happens, and I'll get back to the story. The two gentlemen, they used to work with Fresh and Fit, I believe from what one of the guys say, he used to do a lot of the sourcing of the women. He used to do, I guess, some kind of production level ideas, bringing concepts, bringing different things to the show. And I guess he was never really credited properly. There was another one that's a photographer, and they talk about how they both were kind of pitted against each other in a way, for the benefit of the Fresh and Fit podcast. And they kind of put it all on the Myron guy. So they made the Myron guy seem very slimy and snakish. The two gentlemen, authentic alphas, they seem cool enough, I'll be honest. But coming out with things now, coming out with it the way they did, it's clear that they are looking to capitalize, which I don't knock that at all. I believe in that. One of the things, I'll be honest about this now, I didn't want to start off with it because if you are watching, I didn't want to just turn you off. But the only reason why I'm making this video about this topic is so that I can put the video on YouTube, tag it a certain way, keyword it a certain way, and just kind of see what it does in relation to the other videos that I made, similar style, similar length, and I'm still trying to kind of figure out the algorithms, right? And so I'm not gonna say I don't care about the topic, because I am I'm a viewer in a way, and I do subscribe to a few of these different channels, but it's kind of a dead horse at this point, right? I'm sure you've seen video after video after video about some of these topics. Now, the authentic alphas and the whole thing, that's new, right? So what happens is the authentic alpha guys come out with a video, and I would say go watch that if you are interested or you care. They came out with a video kind of saying their side, exposing Fresh and Fit even more as kind of fraudulent, right? They say they don't get women the way they say they do. They say they were getting a lot of women from these two gentlemen. And one of the dudes said, for 3 months, every chick you had on the show and every chick you had on your bed, you got from me, right? So how could you possibly be a womanizer, right? And if that's true, I mean, it's true, I guess. But at the same time, I mean, how he does his thing, I can't knock it if he's doing it properly. But if he's propositioning and coercing women, obviously that's where it gets a little nasty, or not a little nasty, it gets very nasty. But that's what makes it wrong. If you got joints around you and I scoop them up because I got the bread, I can't really knock that. Now, I would expect a guy to have his own kind of situations, and maybe that would supplement that. But I mean, whatever, so that is what it is. But so the guys had an issue, right? He wanted to fight, all these different things. I guess Fresh and Fit are still speaking down on their names in a way, right? And I'll let you watch the video to get the full details. But I guess what happened from there is that, and this is clout chase, right? This is a clout chase. I'll just say it for what it is. I don't knock it, you know what I mean? And let me be clear about that. It's not necessarily a clout chase when you're involved in something. And I don't even use that word outside of YouTube, but it's not even a clout chase when you're involved in something, right? Now, you may be collecting the clout, but you're involved in it. You didn't create it. You didn't go after something for the purpose of getting attention. So I can't necessarily say he went after this situation or they made a video for the purpose of getting attention. But after you drop the video, and it is what it is, and the YouTube cycle hasn't even picked it up fully yet, you go down and you run down and you knock on the door. And I don't know if they had a gun, or maybe when they came and they knocked on the door, tried to get in, the fit dude, Myron, he got a gun. But there was talk of somebody having a gun, or there was like, yo, you got a gun? So there was a gun involved. Nothing popped off. I mean, let's be honest, you going to a fucking studio. You're going to go to the studio and wild out. Like, they can't just point the camera at you. You know what I mean? And not to mention the guy, he had somebody with him who was recording, right? So I think it's clear, right? And this is not to knock the dude. This is part of the game, and fucking, it's whack, you know what I mean? But can't nobody really say anything because you do have a valid grievance, but you went down there to make a scene. You went down there to cause a scene. I'm sure that footage will be uploaded, commentary added, and a bunch of things in short order. And you know, you're trying to get your YouTube or your social media kind of, you know, moment, right? You're trying to create a moment that you can build off of. Fine, you know, that's cool. But what I will say is that, like, this is the type of stuff that, like, when you move funny, you move nasty with people, you leave the door open, right? You leave the door open, and there, people are gonna feel more and more empowered and emboldened to kind of reach on you. Like, so I don't know if this dude, I don't know what his issue was, but whatever it was, he's had it for weeks and months. Not until now has he felt like he needed to run down. You know, I mean, from what I've experienced in the streets, when something is on site, it's on site. If you wait months, nigga, just forget about it. You know what I mean? But if there's something new that happened, then there's something new that happened, but you should handle it the way that you handle that. If there has been no physicality up until this point, I don't know if something changed that now they need to fight, right? And if he's been ducking them, he's been ducking them. But, like, the best revenge is success, right? So the best revenge would have just been to keep kind of using them to kind of, you know, build yourself, right? But, you know, that's not what happened. So I say all that to say it's a bad look, man. It's a bad look for the kid, Myron. I think that the one thing I can say is that I don't think anybody should feel sorry for the gentleman. He is, you know, old enough and successful enough and kind of in a position where, I mean, I can't even say this is the worst that would come, but, like, if this happens and you're not ready for it, then that's on you, you know, like, no matter what it is, no matter if they're lies or they're the truth, which it shouldn't be the truth, but if they're lies, then, I mean, people are gonna lie. You got the bag, bro. Like, they want it. You know what I mean? You sleeping with chicks unprotected, somehow she gets knocked up. She ain't taking that plan B. She ain't taking that plan B unless you watch her and you make her. I mean, just give people the same credit that you have, right? If you would take an opportunity if you were presented with an opportunity to make $500,000 just being yourself, would you take it? And that's basically what you do when you kind of sleep with women and you have something to lose and they have something to gain, and they're not going to have to feel sorry for it, or they're not going to be wrong for it. And it's actually going to be, it's almost going to be pushed on them by the people around them, right? So you got to be aware of that. You got to be conscious of that. And I don't know, you just got to stay away from this type of shit, man. Like, and when it comes up, you got to stand up and deal with it, right? Because if nothing else, they should be the ones kind of doing all the talking. And if somebody's going to be breaking something down about it, break down what I said. You know what I mean? Because the more you leave it for other people to craft a narrative and to tell a story, it's going to be hard for you to get the truth or your truth out, because the public opinion is already gone. You know what I mean? Public opinion goes based off of how people feel about you from jump, right? And so there's going to be a certain segment of people that as soon as they hear the accusation, oh no, that's what I thought, right? And then the only way to kind of quell that or stop that from kind of going further, if the situation is big enough, is to come out and speak and give somebody else something else to think about. And up until this point, they haven't given anybody anything else to think about. And from the stories and what it sounds like, there's not much else they can say, because everything else they've said before these things come out would be contradicted. You know, so it's definitely a tough spot for Fresh and Fit to be in. I feel bad for the Fresh dude, because he's really like, like if you ever felt insignificant in life, like think about him in this situation. People really don't care about him, and like they just kind of make jokes at his expense. And even when it looked like the shit popped off in the studio, I mean, at this point, I would just say it's in his best interest to just ride for the team, right? And if you're gonna ride for the team, then you got to do a little bit better of a job, right? So maybe he just doesn't want to be in the situation anymore. But unfortunately, I don't know if his kind of following is strong enough to separate and still be successful, right? So it's tough, man. It's hard out here. I don't know really what else I can say about that. I'm sure some more things will come out, and I'm sure these authentic alpha guys will continue to make videos. I believe Fresh and Fit, they're actually doing some type of podcast today to speak on the issues, and we'll see how that goes. I mean, that can be a good thing, but it can very, very easily and more likely be a bad thing, depending on what type of questions they get, who's able to call in or come in, if anybody, and then obviously just depending on what they have to say. It's very possible for them to fuck themselves up. So we'll see how that goes. But with all that, I mean, be safe out here, man. That's all I can really say. Be safe on these YouTube streets. Please, please be careful with how you deal with people. I mean, deal with people fairly and correctly. Follow the golden rule. Treat others how you want to be treated, and expect the same thing in return. And that's it, man. Like, there's things I would like to get into, aspects I would like to get into, but I won't right now, just because I would say this isn't the story for me, right? So there's a lot of things I can say about manhood and getting women and honesty, integrity, and all these different things, but I think that you've heard it. There's people closer to the situation that can tell you better than me. I think that there's a lot that hasn't come out yet. Just from some of the people that I watch, they've alluded to certain things that, from my opinion, when dealing poorly with women is one thing, right? It's a contradiction. It makes you a hypocrite, but that's one thing. But even more so, and I may make another video about this, even more so as a man, when other men who are hardworking and reputable and credible and have things to lose, when they deal with you in good faith and they deal with you with honesty and integrity, you have to move the same way, right? As men, we only have so many opportunities, and I would say definitely it seems like within YouTube even more so, because there is a certain insulation with a lot of the people, to where they need each other. They collaborate all the time. They kind of work together, and that's not to say somebody's big, somebody's small. They need each other in a negative way, but like, they need unity. You know what I mean? They need unity and they need mutual respect. And I think that as a man, that's something that all men should be looking to give that to other men, and find other men who kind of follow that same creed, to give respect and follow principle and act with integrity and things like that. And so I think for me, that's the biggest mistake and the biggest kind of error that they've made, is that they haven't been good dudes. They haven't been real ones. They haven't been real dudes. They've been moving funny, it seems. And when you move funny shit happens, man. You move funny, you start to look like a joke. You know what I mean? Like, it's only so many ways to kind of look at that, So yeah, I don't know, man. We'll see. It'll be interesting. It's been funny. It's been good to watch. I've seen now. I've seen enough that I've kind of read between the lines, and I can kind of assess the situation, if what I think it is, at least. And yeah, it's a terrible look, man. I think the Myron guy, I think he's probably done. He's probably done, at least with the Manosphere. Maybe not YouTube. Maybe he can kind of pivot. Maybe they both can pivot to more like a mainstream thing. But I don't know how. I'm not that familiar with all their old work, so I don't know how that would even look, and how that would even be received by the fans. But to the fans out there that are, going hard and trying to ride for the team, without taking it too far, obviously, for the ones that should be and could be respected. I think you guys should just kind of, number one, separate the message from the messengers, and then separate the information from the platform. And separate information from any platform or anything that it comes from. The information is what it is. It's not going away. It's not going to be unreal. This is crazy right here, but whatever. It's not unreal, but it's all about kind of how you go forward, right? So I can learn a lot of things. I can learn a lot of things from a great teacher, right? And it could be a good teacher. But if I find that teacher is really a creep, or, a ped, right? Or, a violator, then that teacher needs to be punished. He needs to take accountability. It has nothing to do with the information that I learned. That person didn't create it. They didn't, They didn't write the book. They didn't fucking, like, the fact, even if I tell you something that I thought of that's true, the fact that it's true, it's not because I said it. It's because it's true, and I just put words around it. So if somebody's words help you come to a conclusion, then that's great. But at the same time, that conclusion existed before you even cared about the subject. So you have to kind of look at things from that perspective. And if you are just a fan and you just want to defend the guys and you want to throw your cape on, then say that. You know what I mean? Say that and say less. You know what I mean? But that's all I can really say on that. I didn't keep the video under a certain time, so I guess it's a fail. Hopefully, it's a little bit more entertaining, and I can continue to kind of grow within what I'm trying to do. But you got to take it how it comes right now, man. We slugging over here. We don't give a fuck what you think. We just getting it done. So, yeah, hopefully soon I plan to start editing videos. I should have a intro coming out. You know what I mean? This is kind of where I specialize, in the market and the creativity and those things. Being on camera, that's just a byproduct, and I have to do it, right? If I had somebody else that could be the talent, then I would do that, and I would just try to develop things around that. But that's not how it is. That's not how it's gonna work, and I don't, I'm not in the position to do that. So that's a moot point. But like I was saying, you got to move with integrity. You got to be smart. You got to cover your P's and Q's. You got to wrap it up when you're dealing with thoughts. If you don't wrap it up for whatever reason, make sure a chick takes the plan B, or understands where you're at with things, and don't coerce women for different things. If you are in a roundabout way, then maybe, but like, to directly say, hey, you do this, you do that, and I want, what I want, that's not it, man. And if you pay to play, I won't knock that, but that's something that you need to do, from a, you need to do that wisely and intelligently. And obviously, that's not for everybody at all, you know what I mean? So, yeah, that's really all I got to say. That's all I really can say. There's not much else to the situation or the subject. I hope that these guys don't get into any more legal issues. Whatever they get into on the smoke or the YouTube side, I mean, that is what it is at this point. I can't care about that, but I don't wish jail or any type of lawsuit on anyone if I ain't getting paid, right? So, but yeah, man. So that's really that. I mean, I don't know what else you may want to know on the subject or what you may want to hear, but just go out there, look for it, check out Authentic Alphas, check out The Lead Attorney, check out MTR if you want to get a good kind of grasp on the situation, Jessica X as well, and obviously, you know, O'Shea Du Jackson did a few videos on it. So yeah, man, I mean, I'm just giving my input, just trying to work on my situation, and we'll tag this video in a way where we're gonna see if we can get a little bit of clout chase, or at least see how that works, right? I don't really want to do that, but I want to see how that works as far as when you talk about certain topics, how quickly and how easily people will click. Now, I know they probably won't click because the shit gonna say 40 minutes. I understand that, right? Like, I don't want that to be lost. I don't want people to think that I think this is sustainable or this will drive up what I'm trying to do. I always kind of plan on maybe going back at some point when I do start editing, and editing these videos to be able to show the difference to people, right? And to be able to show, like, this is the difference, this is how it works, this is when I was doing this and it was very rough and raw and uncut, it went like this, I got this much attention, I got this much traction, just editing the video from a very basic way, because I don't know what the fuck I'm doing for real. This is the difference it made. I'm sure these videos will go from 30 minutes to like 10 minutes or some shit, you know. All the ums and ahs will come out and whatever else. So I mean, this is basically like a live stream. I'm just sitting here talking, and I'll upload it. I don't think I can kind of go live. Not that anybody would watch, but you know, that's kind of how I'm approaching it, right? So I don't want that to be lost, and I don't want anybody to think that I think that this is something that it's not, I guess. But yeah, so other than that, man, I don't know, man. I can't call it. I'm just here doing me, right? And by the way, your girl Shikari got smoked. I don't care what you say. She got smoked, and she probably shouldn't even have been racing. I don't want to get into a whole nother topic, but yeah, yeah. I mean, why we gotta always cop please, man? Like, why we gotta cop please for some of these people? They are what they are. They're athletes, they're competitors, they're personalities, they're celebrities. They are more than likely in a better position, and a position of more, or they should have more experience than all of us, right? All of us just kind of sitting here, all of us slugging on the couch, all of us commenting in the videos at home. And when they fuck up, it's like, oh, it's just this, it's just that. To give them a second chance. I get it, right? I wish life worked like that, but I can ask for you to get a second chance, but if you don't, I mean, you don't, bro. And I think that with Shikari, her chance was to take what she did when she won that first race and got the attention. Take that to the Olympics. Be humble about it. Then wherever you placed, you would have kept that celebrity, that notoriety, that public favor in a higher place. But she got caught up with the weed. I get it, right? Oh no, I just smoked because my mom, blah blah blah. Excuse, right? It's an excuse. I'm sorry. It may be a good reason to make a bad choice, but it's a bad choice, so it makes it an excuse, right? So, yeah, I mean, not that weed is a bad choice, but obviously, if you go into the Olympics, man, you got more important things to deal with, you know. But Once that happened, what I felt like she should have did is she should have took that celebrity that she had, took that public favor that she had, and pivoted away from track and field. Not to say she stops racing, but maybe focus more on something else that's lucrative, because it never kind of seemed like she was ever gonna, at least anytime soon, I'll say, she was never gonna be like the gold medalist. She wasn't gonna beat those girls from Jamaica. I've seen things that talk about her best time versus their best times, and it's not really close. And not to mention with this race right here, she got smoked. I'm like, what the fuck? She got smoked to where they showed her in the back and the camera panned back with her, and I've never seen that in a race. I've never seen them bother to show the person that's in last place. It like makes the camera angle look kind of weird. You know what I mean? And I only noticed it because they kept the camera on her as she was getting beat by everybody. And it's like, I could see why the Jamaican women, they don't fuck with her. You know what I mean? Not only is she cocky and arrogant and like, I don't want to say delusional because she is talented, but like some of the things I've heard her say has been like, huh? You know what I mean? Like, are you really? Hold on, let me look at your rap sheet. You know what I mean? Because have you won a big race to be talking crazy? And it's not anything against black women because I consider Jamaicans black. I mean, I have Jamaican in my blood, so I know that there's not much of a difference. It's just the black American experience, which, I mean, that's cool. But whatever. But yeah, I mean, she got burnt, you know what I mean? And hopefully she can kind of bounce back from this. She needs to bounce back at this point. She has to get her heart back. And when I say she has to get her heart back, when I say that and use that terminology, when you compete and you lose poorly and you lose confidence, and your mental your mental conditioning is kind of broken down a little bit, your spirit is maybe broken a little bit, your confidence is shaken. You gotta do something to get your heart back. You gotta compete. Number one, you gotta get yourself in a good position, training, energy wise, confidence wise, and then you gotta compete against the same type of competition or similar that beat you, right? And you can then shift the perception and kind of shift things in your own mind to feel better about things, right? Like I'll just put it like this: you take a bad loss, you boxer, whatever, fighter, you just a nigga in the street, you get your ass whooped, you took a loss, you come back around, right? Niggas is like, yo, that nigga got his ass whooped, blah 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 blah. They're gonna get on you. Eventually that'll stop, so you don't really have to do anything. But if you want to get your heart back, right, you would then find that person that beat you up, or maybe one of their friends. I don't know how you guys give it up, gang gang, but you find one of their friends and you beat that person's ass, right? And it's just that simple. And just that act alone would then make you 50-50, right? Instead of being 0 for 1. So that's just kind of how that works, to where she needs to, at least on a important level that people pay attention to, she needs to win a race, right? She needs to win a race. She needs to maybe beat somebody, or at least do well enough to where people can then have some confidence in you going forward, and you can hopefully have confidence in yourself by then, because I can't see people really checking for her much longer. You know what I mean? So, blessings to her. I'll say for Myron, it is what it is. Hopefully, things get better before they get worse around you, and for the people who are important to you. and who that you know, you're the people that you take care of, I guess I could say simply. Fresh, I mean, for him, I would say just, you know, you need to kind of, you need to define yourself through this situation, because right now people just kind of see you as a slug, right? Like you're a slug, you done made it, but like you're not really, you don't really have a purpose there. You know what I mean? And with this whole situation, it's just kind of, even though a lot looks bad on Myron, it looks just as bad on Fresh, because now it makes you a follower. You don't have a voice. You're not speaking as a man. You're not checking bad behavior from your boy. You would let somebody else bring down something that you built. There's a lot there as well. You know what I mean? There's a lot of angles with this situation. But I'm tired of talking about it. I hit 50 minutes. You niggas is not going to watch this anyway. So, I mean, what am I really doing? You know, so we'll see how it goes. We'll see what it is. Other than that, with that being said, Jay Haynes, Top Slug, Sofa King, we out of here. And I mean, I know you've seen the Netflix scroll. I just wanted something in the background. Wanted to test that out, see how it worked, see how it looked. That's that crack right there, that cocoa. I'm in love with the cocoa. Makes me think about my baby. But yeah, I mean, another one in the books, man. And hopefully it's getting better. Hopefully it's getting more coherent. Hopefully I'm able to kind of put the thoughts together a little bit better. I ain't gonna lie, man. They be getting on this dude Fresh, bro. Like, I'm looking right here on somebody's video. It's this nigga's got like a picture in a white sweater holding a white dog. It's like that fucking Prince Harry photo with him holding the lamb. Who the fuck do these niggas think they are, bro? Like, I ain't gonna lie, man. They definitely seem like they let the shit go to their head. But I mean, when it's new, when it's, you know, not authentic, I mean, that can happen, I guess, you know. Yeah, it's not a shock. But yeah, Jay Haynes, Top Slug, Sofa King. We out of here, man. Fuck with me.